When I was younger, I believed I was a prepared person. I treated everyone equally, respected everyone, and believed I had no bias. One day in psychology class, we were given a task. We had to label those who looked trustworthy, and they were all strangers. It looked harmless. However, the results were shocking. Everyone who I labeled trustworthy looks like me. That's when I learned something uncomfortable. Bias isn't always loud or hateful. It may be quiet, polite, but it shapes everything around us. All of us understand how bias is important and how it affects everything we do. Everything we do and understand always comes from our personal opinions. Our brains are categorizing a reality through a lens we didn't get to choose. That's how bias affects us every single day. In the small moments to larger decisions such as deciding what university you want to go to or what job you should apply for. At Harvard University, a study was conducted where psychologists created the implicit association test taken by over 30 million people worldwide. It measures unconscious associations, such as linking male with leader and female with nurture. It learned something uncomfortable. Even in the systems we believe are fair, still show bias. In 2003, the University of MIT and University of Chicago sent out 5,000 identical resumes to different companies. All of them had the same qualifications, but just a different name. 50% were black-sounding names like Lakeisha and Jamal, and 50% were white-sounding names like Emily and George. However, again, the results were shocking. Companies accepted the names that were almost white by more than 50%. They got callbacks. They all had the same qualifications, same words, just different name. That's how bias affects us in every single way. Now it's being applied into something much larger, artificial intelligence. In 2018, Amazon had to let down an AI hiring tool because it favored male candidates over female candidates. Even though AI doesn't invent bias, however, it understands it from historical data that's built by us. That's how bias affects us everywhere. That's why, as people, we should understand that to live a better life, it's not just about having better algorithms, but it's about being better humans. Another personal experience happened later on in school. Me and my friends had to lead a project where we had to determine the different parts of life. Without thinking, we picked the most outspoken person to present the idea. This idea made me analyze and realize, understanding how different, without thinking, I picked and compared leadership with confidence. Later on, my quieter classmate put me aside and asked me, did I not get chosen because I was too quiet? I thought about it. She was right. Her insights may be stronger than the other teammates. But again, I compared leadership with confidence. That's how bias isn't just social, it's personal, and it affects us every day in our ordinary experiences. When we understand our bias, we might understand and know that it can't be deleted completely. However, when we notice it, we get into a closer step to having fairness around the world. When we analyze it, we question our assumptions and knowing that people may think differently or may speak differently, but we shouldn't compare how good they are with our personal opinions. That's why we all should work on improving and understanding the certain differences that people have. We might not all have the same mentality, or the same background, or the same religion. However, we are all people living in the same community. That's why accepting one another and questioning yourself before making a decision, is it a reflection of me, or is it just the decision I made? That's how it shows we can improve into getting into a better world and improving our society to all believe and result in equality. Because again, we may still have bias, but the act of noticing it can change the habit of thinking that it's automatic. And doing so, we can also apply the same to AI. Since AI is built by us, we're the ones that provided with the information, and we're the ones that implement it. So having this risk taken within AI, as AI can make louder and faster decisions than we could ever could. That's the importance of understanding and getting a closer step to having fairness, is noticing your bias.